TikTok users may well be President Trump's latest adversary.
President Trump talking on the South Lawn a short time ago. He was asked if he is going to ban TikTok here in the
400 hours of video uploaded to YouTube per minute. 500 million tweets sent per day. There's over 3 billion Snapchats sent per day.
Social media. The avenue through which anyone can share their thoughts, feelings, opinions, and memes. But social media has proven to serve more significant purposes, especially in light of the difficulties imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Businesses and schools have continued to operate with the use of social media for professional purposes.
In the last few weeks, you've seen teachers and students take incredible steps to stay engaged.
Companies have utilized memes to generate widespread fanaticism about their products, such as Netflix and the social media marketing of Tiger King.
Yeah, they go from being so sweet to just wanting to tear your face off, and they can do it like that.
Be quiet, lady. I'm about to show y'all how TikTok taking over the world. Watch this, watch this. Carol Baskins.
During the summer of 2020, social media helped organize Black Lives Matter protests and exposed incidents of police brutality when traditional sources of media failed to showcase the severity of the issue. Twitter has regularly been used as a political tool by President Donald Trump and other American politicians. However, in the lead-up to the 2020 presidential election, TikTok was used as a political tool by a much younger generation. Many of these young people could not even vote yet, but decided to collectively reserve seats at President Trump's campaign rallies, intentionally leaving them empty in protest of Donald Trump's politics.
Was President Trump's fiasco of a rally in Tulsa sabotaged by an army of teenagers bent on making mischief? The disastrous turnout, a paltry 6,200, filled just 1/3 of the indoor arena.
Following the attack and insurrection attempt on the Capitol on January 6th, the FBI has been using images and videos posted on social media to identify and apprehend the people involved.
Tonight, pressure is mounting on social media companies to stop plans for more violence from spreading. More than a dozen companies already blocking or restricting President Trump on their platform.
Social media site Reddit was used to organize an attack against hedge funds, which were attempting to short sell GameStop's stock in January of 2021. The community involved seemingly represented the general population's distaste in the actions of Wall Street, particularly after the economic collapse in 2008.
The idea that I use social media to promote GameStop stock to unwitting investors and influence the market is preposterous.
Legions of individual investors on social platforms like Reddit are going up against fancy, well-funded, professional Wall Street traders, and the little guy is winning.
These events indicate that the future role of social media in society will be increasingly significant, and the difficulties of 2020 have only accelerated its role and expanded its adaptation.
My name's Austin, I'm 28, and I went into quarantine at the beginning of March 2020. So when the news broke from the World Health Organization, I was not an essential worker, so I was sent home to work remote. I worked in an office, and so the office closed down and I was sent to work from home. We switched to using Microsoft Teams, which is a communication platform that we use at work. And so we use that for all of, in terms of like messaging, coworkers, meetings, video calls, all of those things. If we didn't have the social platforms, I think we would have really struggled, especially something like Teams where it's easy to chat and video call, send documents all in the same place. I think if we were just doing it over email or phone calls, it would have been a lot more difficult. At the start, I would say we struggled, and the communication, there's definitely a communication gap. But as we worked more and got used to working remote, we definitely got better.
My name is Tyler Whitlock. I'm 25 years old, and the day that I was sent into quarantine was February 2020. So at the time, I'm employed by Publix Supermarkets. My current job title is a pharmacist intern. Since I am a pharmacist intern, I'm also a student as well. So to go from not going to school at all, to now I'm only going to work. We're wearing masks. Like, there's not your daily traffic on the road. Like, it was all just like it was very different, and I didn't like it. It kind of just made it feel like we were just like in an age of like an uncertain time. So they started using Zoom. We use the Zoom platform for our lectures. Our lectures, we have to have lectures from our faculty. So they just essentially just transferred everything over to Zoom and, made us have our cameras on and our microphones on and still participate actively. I don't believe it would have been successful without them. However, I don't feel like they've been necessarily to our advantage either. And, people at home, they're with their kids, they're with their family. You're not as attentive online as you necessarily would be if you were sitting in the classroom. I did attend a protest in Atlanta, Georgia, as well as seeing protests online. I did see the majority of the protests that I saw through social media platforms such as Twitter and Instagram. It made me feel empowered as a Black person, but I felt unsatisfied at the same time because of what was going on. The fact that we're having to do this for, like the reason why we're doing this, and it's still going on.
For those familiar with the natural flow of social media prior to the pandemic, the changes are far more apparent.
What's up, y'all? This 14K on the Media Special, the Street Dream Music Group.
14K noticed this change in the music industry, and how it has affected outreach for rising artists.
Only thing a person got to do now is just drop a video on the platform, and they can get about 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views. Now they young, you know what I'm saying? But back then you had to go platinum, double platinum and stuff like that to really, you know what I mean, reach to the radio.
The implications on the music industry posed by the COVID-19 pandemic may not be temporary.
People still gonna be like putting their music up on like the platform, like Instagram, Facebook. You know what I mean? That made a lot of people put a lot of people in their position, like what they in now. You know what I mean? Using that Instagram and Facebook and you know what I mean. So I feel like even when the pandemic over, people still gonna be using like Instagram and Facebook for their main platform.
Consumer advocate and radio talk show host Clark Howard also discussed how his field has been affected by coronavirus and the implications it has had, stating, "All traditional media are in steep decline. Audience members continue to fall. Ad revenue has collapsed because of coronavirus, which will speed the move of people to streaming, podcasts, and electronic information sites." He also encouraged future consumer advocates to learn skills that help them connect to people using video, audio, or writing, stating, "Don't think in terms of the format you reach people. Rather think about what content you have that people will want. The formats or technology to deliver content or entertainment will keep changing." During the COVID-19 pandemic, the surge of social media was significant. According to Nielsen, the United States has had a 115% rise in 1 year for the use of mobile devices to access current events. The shift of people being quarantined at home naturally added to this rise of usage. The most popular of these is the TikTok app, with Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube trailing behind. In data collected in a poll by Bizarre Voice, 72% of respondents agree that their social media use and consumption has risen throughout the pandemic. And 49% of those say that they have changed the way they post in a positive way due to the current political climate and various movements that have transpired throughout the past year.
Social media has a well-deserved reputation as being a cauldron of cruelty, but in this pandemic, there's been a shift, with empathy moving to the forefront.
Social injustice issues have been the major focus during this pandemic, and 86% of respondents agreed or strongly agreed that they had seen a shift in the content they see on social media, stating that it is political, overwhelming, and stressful. This has caused a change in how people are posting, and 43% of respondents have changed their posting behavior to share more information as they relate to current events. Major growth was also seen in video conferencing software due to the lockdowns that shuttered schools and businesses.
The most interesting and the most challenging thing about this new look into Zoom has been just how fast the story has evolved in recent days. When we first spoke to Zoom CEO Eric Yuan, it was becoming one of the most popular tools of this stay-at-home era. And usage was exploding with, millions of new downloads on a daily basis.
The Verge reported that Zoom has just surpassed 300 million daily active users, which is a significant increase from the just 10 million that used it in December 2019. While the pandemic charges on, so does the rise in social media usage. There is no reason to suspect a change in how it's used in the future, even if the activity lessens after the pandemic.